Dear students, good morning. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, 29th September 2020. The first article for discussion is UN and the retreat from multilateralism. Here the key word is multilateralism. The essence of this article is to state that we are moving away from multilateralism today. Multilateralism refers to a kind of collective action of the people and the states towards certain common goals or objectives. Let us put this way. When two countries talk to each other and make agreements, we call it as bilateralism. When more than two countries talk together, then we refer to that as multilateralism. There are many institutions today to promote this multilateralism: UN, WTO, G7, G20, all these are the symbols of multilateralism. And how did this multilateralism has come into existence? What made this possible? The first reason is collective challenges we all are facing. Especially after the Second World War, we thought that there has to be some institutions that has to mediate negotiations or discussions between the governments. The first wave of multilateralism in the modern days came after Second World War. UN like organizations reflect that. Second wave of multilateralism came after globalization. In this case, sustainable development goals, or millennium development goals, climate change talks, all these are the symbols, efforts of multilateralism. Today, what the author is saying, this multilateralism is going back. What are the reasons for this? The first most important reason is United States of America. USA was the backbone for creation of the existing multilateral order, either it is in the first phase or in the second phase. When Trump has come into existence, his first slogan was is make America great again, America first. A nationalist rhetoric exists in his sloganeering. And second, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, has clearly stated that America no longer willing to be the guarantor of the last resort for the existing multilateral world order. Then, the other country which is trying to get into the shoes of the leader of the world is China. But credibility of the China is into question. China, if you carefully observe, it has got a Belt and Road Initiative. But you know, the debt diplomacy, it is creating great debt on various countries. In this scenario, can China have the magnanimity to hold the multilateral institutions? It is doubtful. Recently, if you have observed, on climate change, China clearly stated that it wants to become carbon neutral by 2060. And India, USA did not commit to that. Europe was talking about becoming carbon neutral by 2050. And there is no great country in the Europe to stand for the global stature after UK. The second part is Brexit. Union itself is in shambles with the Brexit question. The great project of European Union is getting questionable today. And then protective actions on economic side. You know, America moved away from TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. Many of the countries are creating boundaries, or they are not making the free trade a policy today. Further to this, the rise of nationalism across Europe, Asia, and to that extent, Americas. And finally, multilateral institutions of today are suffering with paucity of resources. The best example can be United Nations. United Nations, where it shall get its money from through voluntary contributions. And obviously, the governments are not ready to give their due to UN. And the budget of UN is barely sufficient today for its peacekeeping missions across the world. Finally, the retreat from multilateralism would undermine the UN's capability or capacity to face diverse challenges that are existing before humanity today. That is the take home point. The next article is a soldier, diplomat, politician, and mentor. So, this article is about Jaswant Singh and his diplomatic activity, which has put India out of danger of the sanctions. After India testing the nuclear weapons, there was a lot of pressure on Indian government, and governments across the world are ready to impose the sanctions. Mr. Jashwant Singh was given the responsibility to handle USA and China. In this case, Mr. Clinton's government was very antagonistic to India, wanted to push India to sign CTBT and NPT. You know, India was opposed to them, stating that they are not egalitarian or they are undermining equality across the nations. In this case, Mr. Jaswant Singh has took the help of India's nuclear policy doctrine and was able to negotiate with US administration, and he was able to normalize the relations between these two countries, and next steps in strategic partnership followed by civil nuclear cooperation agreement are the achievements of his work. Similar way, he was able to talk about security doctrine or security steps with China, undermining the entire episode of India's nuclear test. So in that way, he was able to take forward the diplomacy with a lot of respect and then consideration to the Indian needs and values. This is what this article emphasizes. Next is Dalit politics at crossroads. So, Dalit consciousness, it means that developing a self respect to be called oneself as a Dalit. It is developed in different approaches by different people. If you talk about Kanshi Ram, he has developed the Dalit icons in our ancient texts. Let me put Ekalavya was developed as a Dalit icon by Mr. Kanshi Ram. The second is Swami Achyutanand of Adi Hindu movement inspired Dalits to get educated and launched a movement for the same. Swami Achyutanand. And he integrated the bond of Dalits with Hinduism and making them a center to Hinduism. Coming to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he raised the Dalit consciousness through sense of equality. He wanted Dalits to change their religion to Buddhism. Like this, many iconic figures have raised the Dalit consciousness in their own way. And in the modern politics, BSP played an important role. In this case, Miss Mayawati wanted to plunge or take a part of Hindutva narrative and won Parashuram. It is to take benefit of the electoral politics or differences that are existing among people supporting the Yogi Adityanath government. Keeping that aside, how different people are work towards developing the Dalit consciousness, you need to be very careful, and you need to take this towards examination. The Dalit consciousness is important to make oneself as part of Indian political and social scenario. How this has been developed, take a note of that. Next is making amends. You know, 13th Constitutional Amendment Act is very important in Sri Lanka. It was signed after India-Sri Lanka Accord 1987. According to this, the northern and eastern provinces have to be given necessary autonomy. You know that Sri Lankan Tamils live in that particular area. And India has a definite direct impact of civil war or unrest in Sri Lanka. In this case, today, Rajapaksa's government is not giving due importance to 13th Amendment Act or to that matter 19th Amendment Act which was brought in by the previous regime. And India is not in a position to negotiate or talk to Sri Lanka on this matter, the major reason being the China. Now, Sri Lanka appears to be going under the China sphere of influence, and it will give greater access to Indian Ocean to China, Chinese Navy. So, India is unable to raise this particular issue. Second is, there is a majoritarian stance going in Sri Lankan establishment, which is the reason for its civil war. And under Rajapaksas, it is expected to be consolidated. So, India's chances of having a diplomatic pursuit for 13th Constitutional Amendment appears to be very few. That is what the author talks about. Next is two speeches. At UN, Prime Minister Modi and Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan spoke, and their speeches contrast their world vision. And Pakistan's world vision revolves around India, And India's world vision talks about reform of the multilateral institutions like UN. And crisis of UN, that is what Prime Minister Modi addressed, crisis of confidence in UN. But Mr. Imran Khan spoke about Citizenship Amendment Act, Article 370, and then he compared Citizenship Amendment Act to Nuremberg laws and Indian government to Nazi government. So why Pakistan is doing? Obviously it wants to internationalize disputes between India and Pakistan. And second, repeatedly raising these issues at international fora may bring, or someone may hear to it, or it may bring in certain focus on India, that is his ambition. Keep in mind, India shall not neglect this. India also shall be able to give a counter narrative rather than dismissing all of them. So keep in mind this particular words. Land acquisition order gifted government laxity, CJI. So constitutional bench gave an order on land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement law 2013. In this, certain clarity is missing. What is that? Let's take. Government has acquired the land but did not take the possession or did not pay it the compensation. Obviously that land do not belong to the government. Or if government acquired the land, took the possession but did not pay the compensation. So, how many days government can hold that land? How many days government take possession of that land? There is no clarity in the law. So, lack of this clarity became an advantage to the government to forcibly acquire private lands. That is what is Chief Justice of India's opinion on the matter. Offset clause goes away for IGAs. Here IGAs stand for intergovernmental agreements. We need to know what is this offset clause. In any purchase agreement, India is making an offset clause. It means that certain part of the contract have to be invested in India for manufacturing here. It is to develop the India's manufacturing sector. In the case of Rafale deal, it is 50%. The offset clause talks about 50% of reinvestment in India. But CAG has recently pointed out that no such investments are happening. Every contractor is reluctant to invest in India. In this case, government has done away with this offset clause for intergovernmental purchases under defense procurement procedure. That is the essence here. COVID vaccine likely in early 2020, Mr. Harshvardhan. So, if economic crisis has to go away, the only way forward is to win the confidence of the people regarding health. That can only happen with arrival of vaccine, and it is expected to come in early 2021 according to Mr. Harshvardhan.